So in my recent Javi Guerra analysis video, which will be linked in the eye above, I spoke about the central midfielder that I think Manchester United should sign instead, who is around the same age, same price, same style of central midfielder, but superior in most areas, has Premier League experience and also not just higher potential than Javi Guerra, but also someone who I would regard as a top shelf talent, capable of developing into one of the best central midfielders in world football. And that is Southampton's just recently turned 21-year-old Portuguese midfielder, Mateus Fernandes. See, from the eye test statistical analysis, and also looking tactically at what United would need from a new central midfield signing, I think Matias Fernandez ticks all of the boxes and would be a superior signing to Javi Guerra. I mean, just statistically, if we plot some defensive metrics against ball carrying metrics, whilst comparing every midfielder under 23 in Europe's top 7 leagues, you can see that whilst Javi Guerra isn't ranking terribly on any of these graphs, Matias Fernandez not only sits higher for pretty much all of them, but also stands out from the rest of the pack, consistently sitting as one of the players closest to the top right area of the graphs. And in just a minute, when I compare Matias Fernandez to every other Premier League midfielder last season, it will become clearer as to why I rate him so highly, as well as talking about why I think he could be the perfect signing if United were only going to sign one central midfielder this summer. But before I get into that, if you want to check out any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to okjersey.com. They've got the new Manchester United releases for the upcoming season, with OK Jersey also allowing you to pick up high quality football shirts from just £15, plus free shipping across Europe for all orders over £45. They sent me over these new release alternative Manchester United jerseys from this season, as well as a long sleeved retro home shirt from the 92-93 season, with Cantona 7 on the back, alongside this Nuno Gomez Benfica shirt from the 97-98 season as well. If you use code ALANTIS at checkout, you'll get a discount, so I'll leave it linked in the description and in the comment section below. So Matias Fernandez's key attributes are his tenacious front foot tackling, his press resistance and his ball carrying, and so even at the age of 21 in July, Fernandez already has a highly complete skill set. He's able to move out of the midfield line in order to engage an opposition player receiving the ball, and when confronting the player, his tackling technique is very good. Whether it's a robust standing tackle or a crunching sliding tackle, Fernandez can do both. And this defensive ability can be seen statistically, as this season in the Premier League, when compared against all other midfielders in the league, Fernandez ranked between the 85th and 95th percentile for nearly all of these key defensive metrics, being an extremely high tackler and interceptor. And so this may lead you to assume that Matias Fernandez is more of a ball winner like Agate. However, his skill set is so complete that in possession, he's arguably just as good. Now in possession, from the eye test, Fernandez clearly has the ball control, fluidity in his movement, and the burst of acceleration to receive the ball to feet in the build-up phase, and with his back to goal under immediate pressure, having the press resistance to be able to swivel and turn out of the pressure before driving the ball forward. He's very good at doing this when an opposition player engages too quickly or in a flat-footed manner, wherefrom Fernandez's ability to feint or drop a shoulder enables him to bypass these sorts of challenges. To me, ball carrying ability is clearly one of his key attributes, though at the moment, as you can see from the possession section of his FB ref report, he isn't yet doing this frequently enough throughout the course of a season, although you would imagine that those metrics would increase significantly if he was to move to a more possession dominant side like Manchester United. Passing wise, you can certainly see that Fernandez has the potential to develop into a deeper lying playmaker, constantly looking to play forward via either carries or forward passes, as well as having the passing range to switch play from deep in order to change the direction of the attack. However, I would like to see him develop his incisive passing, particularly developing more of a disguised technique that we see with players like Lamine Camara, Hayden Hackney or Angelo Stiller, in order to make him more efficient when it comes to threading passes into players between the lines. Despite this, however, the passing section of his FB ref report does look incredibly promising, arguably better than his take-ons and carries, as he ranks in the mid-80th percentiles for his medium passes completed, as well as the percentage rate, his long passes completed, and also his passes into the final third, attesting to the fact that Fernandez can be a multifaceted ball progression threat from a deeper midfield area, having both the ball carrying and the progressive passing in his game. Like I've said with the other players on this list, I think Fernandez's potential is elite, as like Bruno Guimaraes, he has also shown the ability to break into the box from deep and finish astutely from shooting positions in and around the box, which alongside the expected development of these incisive and disguised passing would give Fernandes as complete a skill set as you could possibly want from a central midfielder in Ruben Amorim's midfield double pivot. Now at the moment, I don't think he's as creative as someone like Hayden Hackney in terms of his passing between the lines and his ability to release runners in behind with through balls, but he is more industrious, physical and a level above defensively compared to the Borough man. And I'd also argue that he's probably more press resistant as well. The fact that he also ranks in the 98th percentile for the percentage of aerial duels he's won adds further weight to my perception of Fernandes having an almost complete skill set already at the age of 20. For £30 million, I think he's definitely someone that I would consider for Manchester United as an alternative to either Ederson or Kepran Thuram, as well as even Hayden Hackney or Lamine Camara because of how complete his skill set is. He's another player who I think has elite level potential, and I think within the next 1 to 3 seasons, if he does stay in England, he'll likely be regarded as one of the best central midfielders in the Premier League. I'd probably put Matias Fernandez as my third choice option behind Ederson and Kepran Thuram, valuing him between 28 to about £32 million. However, because United can't seem to sell anyone at the moment, seeming determined to spunk what budget they have on just 2 players, Thuram and Ederson may be out of the question, considering we are looking at a cut price option like Javi Guerra for around £21 to £25 million, leading me to the conclusion that Mateus Fernandes for around £5 to £7 million more is a far better deal, and there are a few reasons for this. Firstly, as I said in my Javi Guerra analysis video, whilst he is a relatively high volume dribbler and ball carrier, his dribble success rate, as seen from his FB ref report, is quite low, with the amount of times he's been tackled during a take-on, as well as the number of times he's been dispossessed per 90, sitting in the bottom 2 to 3%. Mateus Fernandes, on the other hand, is not only a higher volume dribbler and ball carrier, as seen by his FB ref report over the past 365 days, as we can see from this graph, plotting dribble success rate against the volume of successful dribbles, for all under 23 midfielders in Europe's top 7 leagues last season, he not only has a significantly higher dribble success rate than both Javi Guerra and Mainu, but he stands out as a leader of the pack yet again, sitting as one of the closest towards the top right of the graph. Now Javi Guerra may be a marginally better progressive passer than Fernandes, specifically when it comes to splitting the opposition's midfield line and working the ball into the space behind, but as this graph shows, plotting progressive action rate for progressive passes adjusted for possession, obviously compensating for the fact that Fernandes was playing for one of the worst sides in Premier League history, from their positionings on the graph you can see that there's not much between them, and Mateus Fernandes, like with nearly all of the other plot graphs I've shown in this video, is ranking above the median for both metrics. What makes Matias Fernandes perfect for United is that from a tactical point of view, he has a complete enough skill set to operate alongside any one of Bruno, Ugarte, Casemiro or Kobbie Mainoo, able to sit behind the ball in the rest defence, shuttling across and breaking up attacks if possession is lost and the opposition look to counter quickly. Whilst in the middle third he's more than comfortable operating centrally in tight areas, receiving the ball and linking play with quick bounce passes, reverse passes in behind the midfield line or direct switches of play. And he also has the press resistance needed to drop deep to receive the ball under immediate pressure with his back to goal on the edge of his own box during the build-up phase, whilst also being capable of taking advantage of the space in behind the opposition's midfield line press by powerfully driving the ball through the middle third. And just to round off my argument, when compared against every other Premier League midfielder last season, you can clearly see that on these plot graphs, Matias Fernandes consistently ranks towards the top right of the pack. Here we see ball carrying frequency and progressive carries against percentage of defensive duels and possessions won, but also doing this when we look at specialised plot graphs as well, for dribble success rate against dribbles completed, progressive carries against ball carrying frequency, and percentage of defensive duels won against the volume of defensive duels won, showcasing both statistically and from the eye test that Matias Fernandes is one of the most complete central midfielders, both in and out of possession, not just in the Premier League, but also throughout Europe. And considering his likely price tag of around £30 million, I think that makes him the ideal alternative option to Ederson for Ruben Amorim's midfield double pivot. So let me know who you prefer out of Matias Fernandes and Javi Guerra in the comments section below, and if you want to check out any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to okjersey.com. You can use code Atlantis at checkout for a discount. I'll leave a link in the description and in the comment section below. And you can also check out the playlist I've just made as well, which I'll leave on the end screen now as well.